Hey guys, happy Wednesday and welcome to our weekly team training. I have with us a very special guest. This woman right here is somebody that I absolutely adore and admire. I love watching her post. I love being able to have her as a sideline leader that I can get advice from. I can reach out to whenever, I need ideas or, if I'm just stuck. She's always so bright and bubbly and smiley, and I'm just so excited to introduce to you guys Colleen LaBanca. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel honored. Thank you.
I was so excited when I reached out to you and you were like all on board. Yes, absolutely. I will definitely come on your team training Zoom. So we are so happy to have you with us tonight. So if I could just ask you a few questions.
Absolutely.
Would you mind telling us your, when you started, why you started, and of course, what your rank is in the company now?
Well, I started with this company about 4 years ago. I am currently a double diamond. I'm this close getting to triple. I'm almost there. My story is a little bit, well, let me start with this way. I was introduced to the products probably about 8 months before I even gave them a shot to try them. I have been involved in health and wellness my entire life. I always say I was that kid with like the Sprouts in my lunchbox and the goat's milk, and like all the other kids are like eating Twinkies and Oreos, and I was like, yeah, here's my lunchbox, like fresh herbs and stuff. So I grew up that way. So I was raised on a farm, the whole thing, and so I've always been very interested in health and wellness. But I do believe with all my heart that it's a true full body experience. It is, mind, body, spirit, the whole thing. So when I was introduced to the wraps, it actually was from my cousin, and she lived in Georgia, and she kept saying, you have to try this, and she would post, and she sent me one. She actually sent me one, and I like stuck it somewhere in my house. I don't even know. I must have thrown it out because I never found it ever. And I kept thinking, now because I'm in Jersey and she was in Georgia, the distance, I was like, oh yeah, I'm not really into that. I'm not really going to do it, So then I had a very close friend of mine that was here in Jersey and said, oh my God, you have to try these products. And I was like, yeah, I kind of already heard about that. And she basically showed up at my house, put one on me, and was like, no, you have to try this. So because she was like there, I was like, okay. And I couldn't believe the results I got. I was like, okay, this is pretty good. But even then, I still didn't dive into it. I saw the results I had, but the way that my mind works, I'm definitely a blue for all of you that knows that. And I'm definitely blue and yellow. I have no red in me, but the health part of it, I guess I could say I'm a little bit green because I had to know. I was like, okay, I see what it's doing, but what is it that I'm putting on my body? What is it that, I'm absorbing? So I went through probably 4 or 5 months of having my own family be guinea pigs and kind of diving into it until I was ready to make that jump. And I could just kick my old self. I wish my future self could go back and say, what are you doing? Just do this, So I, then I saw the value in it. I truly did. So I tell people now, I tell all my new distributors, trust me when I say I did my research to the point of like nauseum, that you don't need to research anything. Like I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I will probably talk you out of something before I talk you into something. So, so my whole reasoning for this, my reasoning was the health aspect of it and the wellness aspect of it. For me, the business part came second, because, my husband always says, if I could just have a big basket of It Works goodies, I would just go around and just give them to the world. Like I would be like, no, just take them because they're going to help you, So I really came into it from that perspective, fully, totally, completely immersed in that. My friend that I did sign up with, she is an accountant by trade. So I remember her calling me one day and saying, hey, do you know you have like $350 in your account? And I'm like, what account? Like, I didn't even know I had an account, and she's like, no, you have to go look. And I went and I was like, oh, I have $300 in my account. And I was so excited because my husband's a landscaper. He works so hard, and he has his own business and he has a lot of accounts. But anybody that knows blue collar work, man, it's blood, sweat, and tears. It really, really is. And I come from a very blue collar background, and we always said, and I think Cammie and Nathan say this too. There was always month at the end of the money, and it was always a roller coaster. Like we had money, and then we hadn't have anything. We had money, we didn't have anything. And my goal financially, after I was already knew that these products were the bomb and everything about them was amazing, is I was like, okay, if I could do that, like $500 a month, like everybody says, even a little less, like I was looking for like maybe $400 or $500, maybe $600 a month. That obviously would have changed my life, and it did. And when I hit that, it was like, wow, okay. And then when I doubled it and tripled it and quadrupled it, and it kept going, and I got to the point where I couldn't believe the amount of money that I was making doing something I was so passionate and I loved so much. And more than that, it was the amount of people's lives that were changing along the way. So that for me always propelled me. And, I have a huge why. Everybody does. My family's my why. But I think along the line, I think my why, my family is obviously a big part of my why, but my why is everybody else's why. Like all of my girls, all of my team, I actually have a wall in my office, and I have all of their charts up there, and I have their whys on their charts. So I see their whys right along with mine. I have a girl in Arizona, her husband's a police officer, and it's just like every day she fears she's not coming home. I've got single moms. I've got, young kids. My son's a college student now. He just signed. He's 19 years old. He's a lacrosse player. And it's like I have all these whys, and it's like that really, really propels me. So I think I hope that answered that in a nutshell. That's why I started, and, why I'm continuing to do what I do.
That's awesome. I love that you have your distributors charts up and that you have their whys. I think that is such a monumental thing to do, because it's a constant, like I always tell my team, I always tell these guys, the big thing for me, it's not necessarily, I'm not here necessarily to build my business. I am. We're not going to lie. We all are. But I can't succeed unless I help them succeed. And, hearing you talk about, how you have the whys of all of your distributors, that just really spoke volumes to me just now, because that's, I tell them all the time, I'm here to help you learn to be selfless and not selfish, because we're here to help
Absolutely.
each other, and if you're selfish coming into this, I hope that we can change that and teach you to become selfless. That's something that I try to teach my kids on a daily basis, because if you're truly in this business for the right reasons, we're here to help people. We're not, yes, the money is great. And, yes, helping yourself is amazing. But if you're helping other people in the process, then the payoff is way more beneficial and priceless than the money,
Absolutely. And like you said, when you give, when you give to others, I think it just organically grows. Like your business can't help but to grow because of what you're doing for other people. So when you put other people first, and I have had that, I reached Double Diamond, and I had a distributor who I was very, very close with. It was one of my neighbor's daughters and stuff. And I kind of felt like, like a mother figure to her. And I, in the beginning, didn't know how to say no. And I got to a point where I was just like, oh my God, what am I doing? I was building other people's businesses for them, which is goes back to the old, proverb, give a man a fish or teach a man a fish, that whole thing. And I was just like, no, I'll do your party for you. No, I'll do this. I'll do this. I was doing parties for people 8 levels below me. Just doing startup, things that I did not layer that leadership, but I always felt like if somebody asked me, I couldn't say no. So after I had reached Double Diamond, she was one of my diamonds. I had other ones as well, but her entire business fell apart because I'll never forget. She's a young girl, and she had people like us, moms and a little bit older on underneath her, and she started what I call godding. That's not even a word. she got into like this ivory tower position. And I remember thinking, like, I had to have a talk with her and say, what are you doing? Like, she was actually reprimanding these like older women and saying, I'm superior to you. And I'm like, you are never superior to anyone. And, that will lead me into about signing my distributors, because one of the things that I do, I don't care if you are a diamond, an emerald, if you are 2 days in, you must value everyone's opinion. You have to place value on what they're doing and what they have to contribute. So whether it be on like on my team pages and things, I'll like put out there, hey guys, what do you think of this? Or hey, what do you think of this? I spotlight people. I ask them to step up into the leadership role. If they have one distributor, they're a leader. They're already a leader. So even if they haven't even reached that executive mark yet. So I think that's such a valuable lesson. And for me, it was a huge wake-up call, because I had an entire diamond business that completely collapsed, that I had to rebuild, because she just, once I said, I can't build it for you anymore. I have too much going on. You need to take over this leadership role. It was no longer what she wanted to do. So then I kind of looked at my business again. And like you said, the people that are in this, our heart and souls are in this. This company is so much more than the wraps. And I know you know that. Like, yes, the wraps are our flagship product, but my God, there's so much more to it than that. It is the personal development. It is the people. It is like you and I connecting. Like, how cool is that? You don't get that in a 9-to-5, So you have to value those positions of those brand new distributors that you have. You have to. You need to value who they are and their worth. And even if it's a little accomplishments, like, don't wait until they reach executive. Don't wait until they reach Ruby. Acknowledge them every day. Like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. You went out and did your first blitz. Oh, you did this, you did that. Just acknowledge them on a daily basis. And it doesn't always have to be, on social media. I am a social media hot mess. I definitely have some tips and things that I have most certainly learned, but social media is not my forte. I am very much belly to belly person. Right now, everyone that knows me and on my team knows that from April to like very beginning of June or the end of May, I am in full-blown lacrosse season. I coach 3 teams. I run a clinic, or run a program. My son plays college lacrosse. So it's like my life's like, it's on stop, so I really slack on my social media. But, just call them up, text them, send them a little note, something like that. So that speaks volumes. That absolutely speaks volumes in your leadership roles. And then that is going to teach them to do the same thing. So it's all about duplication.
Exactly. And that's one thing that I've been working with Angela down here. Angela is my right-hand gal. She really is. She has stepped up into a leadership role right alongside with me. And she and I just work so well. We're just so cohesive together. And she's able to fill in the gaps when I'm not able to, and vice versa. And it works out so well, and her and I have had such a great relationship from the very beginning, and the understanding of knowing that just because it's a distributor that is signed up directly under me does not mean that it's not something that she can help with. And the same thing goes for distributors that are specifically under her. Mm-hmm. Just because they're her downline doesn't mean we can't help each other. So we are really, really good about working together and showing each other. And I think that her and I have really, really worked so awesomely well together that, we're able to show that to the other distributors, so they're able to see that it doesn't matter what level you are. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm Ruby. Yes, Angela's executive, super close to Ruby. But it's we try to make sure that we don't focus on what the pin levels are. That's something that I really try to focus on with my team, is that it doesn't matter what your rank is. It doesn't matter how much money, you're making. It doesn't matter if you're executive, Ruby, Diamond, whatever, it doesn't matter if you're only a day in. We're all here to help each other. We're all here to bounce ideas off each other. And we can't grow as a team unless we work together as a team. Because, I am so, so adamant about everyone on my team embodying the one team, one mission. And,
absolutely.
And if they're not cohesive with that, I tend to not, and Angela's the same way. We tend to kind of back off of them. If they're not really on board with one team, one mission, and they're not really showing that they're trying, at least trying to make an effort to embody that, then, we kind of back off of them and we let them see how the rest of the team is really growing and progressing. And then,
exactly,
and then we'll reach back out to them when we see that they're and we actually have had one team member that was really distant for probably what, Angela, I think maybe like her first 2 months, she was really, really distant. But then all of a sudden, I think she started to see the leadership role that Angela is stepping up into, and how we were growing and how we were working together as a team. And all of a sudden, she just started rocking it, and this girl has been just killing it. So, I think that just goes to show that when we have those uplines, and those leaders that we're able to look up to and mimic, you're making it replicatable for us. We're doing the same thing, we're able to make it replicatable for those that are on our downline. So they're able to do the same things that we're able to do. And we're able to show those potential distributors that you can do this just as easily as we can. It's your passion,
Yeah. And, the other thing is when we talk about upline and downline, I cannot stress to you how important sideline support is. Like, absolutely. And I'll give you a perfect example of this. I established sideline support day one of the business, day one. And the reason I do that is I give them the bigger picture, because when you are in that emerald position, diamond position, double diamond, all that, you need your sidelines to work amongst each other. You need them to collaborate together. And, I had a sideline girl that when we were both kind of, growing, she was one distributor away from getting the $10,000 bonus. And we had no financial connection together, but we worked together and we did, a bunch of different things. And she called me up and she said, "Oh my God, I have this girl and she's really into health and wellness and she's starting to back off now. And I have until like midnight to sign her." So she goes, "Would you please talk to her?" And I said, "Absolutely," because that's the stuff I love, is the health and wellness part. So I met with her, like dropped my plans. I went and met with her. We talked for like an hour and a half. She was like, "That's exactly what I needed to hear." She called up the girl. She signed that night. She got her $10,000 bonus. And I was so, so happy for her. Well, fast forward 6 months later, I'm walking in the mall. I have my, my works clothes on. And this man and his wife and their little baby are pushing a stroller. And he says, "Hey, it works. I've heard about that, and we start talking. I talked to his wife. Well, it comes to find out they owned a Zumba studio by about 20 minutes from where I live. And but the majority of the people in the Zumba studio were Spanish. And I can barely speak English, no less Spanish. 3 languages. But I'm like, well, I do my words. And I'm thinking, oh my God, how am I going to do this? The girl that I had helped 6 months prior to that, I called her up and I said, "Hey, I have this new Spanish distributor. I need your help." She's like, "Done. I'm there." She came, she did the whole launch party. We had 16 people there. He got people, and it was like a beautiful thing. So, that's just good karma. But I tell that to my distributors, and I have girls that work together all the time. And what I'll do is in my charts themselves, I know, are they blue? Are they yellow? And then I make sure that they know that chart, and I make sure that they're gentle and kind with each other. And sometimes I'll pair up like a yellow and a red. And I'm like, "Okay, just so you know, you're a yellow and she's a red. So what do you guys got to do?" You got to meet in the middle, So that sideline support is absolutely vital to your business, So, you need to establish that day one, and just let them know that by you working with a sideline now, when you are in a leadership position, trust me, you're going to want all your sidelines working together. So you cannot do, or you cannot ask them to do what you have not done.
Exactly.
So that's huge. That's absolutely huge.
So as far as I love that we're talking about teamwork, because that's something that I really want, and I've been trying to instill, in our team, is that, I'm a red personality, so I love to assume the leadership role. I just feel like, it just fits me. That just fits my personality. It just fits how I am in life. But I think that, I had everyone take the personality test on the team. And there's some, and you can totally tell who the yellows are, who the blues are, and who the greens are for sure, because the greens have lots of questions.
Yes.
And that's okay. I'm great with that. But I think as far as teamwork goes, I think some of those other personalities have a hard time speaking up. So my question for you would be, what would one last piece of advice be for someone that is, say, a yellow or a blue that
Okay.
has a hard time, maybe, like, because we have a team thread, and I try to post, Liz posts in there with us as well, and then it's just my downline, and which I try to post motivational things in there. I put just incentives, hey, if you can get your BV up to this, I'll reward you with this, and I don't know if everyone kind of understands, the importance of the teamwork there. So if you can give a piece of advice there, especially for the yellows and the blues, that would be great.
Absolutely. The best piece of advice I can give for that is stop selling and start sharing. That's the best thing. You cannot expect a yellow. First of all, yellows don't want challenges. Like me, I care less about a challenge. I like parties and, I get to get together. But, when I before I knew the color personalities, when I first joined this business, one of my distributors, who is red, and then yet red and nothing else, she said, you were like a puppy at Christmas. You were just like, I don't even know, just join it. It's just great. Just try it, And when I started realizing, like, wow, those color personalities, that will take your business truly to a whole nother level. Because when I started in the beginning, I was attracting a lot of my owns and the yellows because I was gentle with them, and a lot of the blues. And then I realized, well, I need other people on my team like that. So, other personalities. So, when I really truly understood those color personalities, I would gear it. So, for example, I had a very, very yellow, one of my girls, call me up and say, oh my God, I've been working on this girl forever. And, she's on the fence and now she's not going to do it. And I said, well, have her call me then, or have her send me an email. So she sent me an email, and at the beginning of the email said, I've talked about this with my husband. I really don't think this is the thing for me. And this is why, and da, 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 da. So I sent her an email back, and I could read in that email. She wanted to know facts, figures, numbers, what I was making, how it worked, the whole 9 yards. She did not care about the fluff. So if I did not understand the color personalities, I would have responded like, it's just so much fun. Don't worry about it. Just join. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. And she would have completely walked away. But
Right.
Instead, I looked at that email. I listened to her. I listened, most importantly. And I was like, okay, this is what we do. The company's been in business this long. This is what I make. This is what you can do. These are the steps of sex. Boom, 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 boom. She signed in 2 hours that night.
Wow.
She signed. Because if I had approached it the way I am, me, my blue, yellow, she would have walked away. It would not have been the business for her. So again, truly understanding those color personalities. And I don't know if you guys, I know you can take those tests, but have you done the Danny Johnson gem tapes yet, or no?
No.
Okay, definitely look that up for your team. It's Danny Johnson. It's a woman. It's Dani. Johnson is her last name. And she does gem trainings. It's, GEMS, or gem trainings. And they describe the yellows, the blues, the greens, and the reds. And She shows you how to interact with them. She shows you body language. She shows you personalities, things they say, way they dress. So I'm telling you, I can sit in a restaurant, and 9 times out of 10, I can say red, blue, yellow, red. I just know it now. It's like second nature to me. And that changes the face of your business, because then you truly can become the leader you are meant to be, because you can understand other people. And I even, like with my kids and my family, I was like, oh, that's why my husband drives me crazy, because he's a green. Oh, my daughter's a red. Like, it made sense in every relationship that I had. Like, so it just makes you not only more aware, but more forgiving. You know what I mean? So, you can't throw out a challenge to a yellow. You just can't. They don't care about, they don't care about challenges. You have to talk, and they have to understand that this business is about changing people's lives. This business is about going out there and seeing who is going to have a better life because of you. Not the challenge, not the money, not any of that. It's about whose life can you touch? Who is out there praying for you to come into life? Who's out there with, health issues or financial issues that you are able to bless them with this gift and this opportunity? That is where yellows are coming from. And blues are all of that, and they like to have fun. So, I hope did that answer your question?
Yes, absolutely. My gosh. You guys, I hope you understand what a true blessing it was to have Colleen on with us tonight, because
thank you so much.
Such awesome nuggets. She's, if you're not already, please follow her. You can get some great ideas from her. Watch her posts, like Facebook stalk her. Look at her Facebook profile. That's what,
I promise. Give me 2 more weeks and I'll be back on Facebook at a regular basis. Right now it's all like lacrosse, and then I do all my texting with other things. But I would love, I have so much information I would love to share with you. So I would be more than happy to do another call another time. Absolutely.
We would love to have you back. It was amazing.
Call me, text me, whatever you need.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Colleen.
You are so welcome.
This was such a blessing, such a great call. I'm so glad that we're recording too, so we can play this back later and take notes. If you weren't taking notes, I'm going to encourage you to watch the recording once I post it and take down some notes, because Colleen really did. Gosh, what a seriously blessed call tonight. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
you.
All
right, well, you guys have such a great night. Colleen, again.
Yes. Can I tell you one more thing really quick?
Yes.
We have, just for you, for your loyal customers, really, really fast, we did the Zoom call today about the new you, and I have product calls. If you want, Becky, what I'll do is I'll send them to you. I had done product calls for every single product. They're only like 8 minutes to maybe 12 minutes long each. But this way, if you have a loyal customer that maybe just wants to know about Confianza or just wants to know about this, I broke down the ingredients, and it's a great quick little blurbs of little calls to give them of why it's so amazing, each individual product. So I'll definitely do that for you. You can send that out to your team.
Oh my God. See, you guys? See, I told you we had a special guest coming on tonight. Colleen, thank you so much again. You guys, this was a great call. I cannot wait to see what the future holds and see what you take from this. So get on the new distributor thread. I want to hear what your aha moments were from tonight's training. And again, Colleen, thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Have a great week. Good night.